It's Friday on TSR. I'm Kyle. That's Keegan Matheson. And Keegan, what a difference a couple of days make, because just before we came to air today, I was rewatching your conversation with Dan from only 48 hours ago. And it would take a very different tone than we're likely to take here today, because this four-game series of the Yankees, which the Jays got the sweep of, and side note, feels like a bit of a victory to get, the split, not the sweep. Um, let's start at the very end of the series, because in fairness, we've been very critical of Hoffman on this show, fairly critical, by the
Yeah.
way, of him this season. But what happened last night was arguably his best outing of the year, retiring the 3, 4, 5 hitters in a row to close Thursday night's game.
And good on him, man.
Yeah.
Honestly, like I'm a big believer that in my job, it's fine to criticize a guy. It's fine to say that a guy sucks when they suck.
Mhm.
But when they don't, you need to show up with the exact same energy. And Jeff Hoffman looked great last night. He did it in an interesting way, too. No fastballs. It
Yeah.
was 10 sliders, 2 splitters, never touched 90 miles an hour. Now, you can't do that every single time, but that felt more almost like a playoff move, where a guy just does something weird and different in one playoff game to win it. But credit to Jeff Hoffman. He has handled this really well.
Mhm.
It would not have surprised me from any player. Like if you sign a contract to be the closer and you get bumped out of the job, where you could be really moody about it and make it a problem for everyone else. He has said all the right things. He's done all of the right things. And yeah, there's been a couple of hiccups since he moved into that role, but he's a reliever. There's going to be hiccups. He has looked good. And John Schneider told him all along, you're going to save a game eventually. It's not going to be all Louis Varland. And he did it, man. Like when he was coming in, admittedly, I'm thinking, oh, man, don't make me write this story, Jeff. Come on. But fantastic inning. And he did it in a pretty interesting way. I'm interested to see if he does more of that going forward. Maybe he's just a big slider guy now.
And we can't really talk enough about, and you wrote about Spencer Miles' tremendous performance in another bullpen game by the Blue Jays yesterday. 4 1/3 of innings of shutout baseball is just at a time when the team needed so bad. You can now add him to the list of wonderful surprises the Jays have been forced to discover this season.
This is crazy. Now and in the coming months, I promise you, you're going to see some revisionist history of people saying, oh, well, what they saw, it made a lot of sense because they saw a great arm action. It totally made sense that no. Okay. Don't let anyone try to sound smart about Spencer Miles. It's okay to be completely, and
Mhm.
I like to admit when I didn't see something coming. I like to be amazed and surprised by baseball. It keeps me excited. And I remember being in whatever city we were in for the winter meetings, Orlando, I think it was,
Yeah.
at the Rule 5 draft. And it was in one of these convention center hotels where there are these big meeting rooms that you could fit an NFL football field in, just like Heartless Convention Center. And sitting there, and they announced the Blue Jays select, which number one is a surprise. You just went to the World Series and you're taking a Rule 5 guy. Like normally, Rule 5 is for the Chicago White Sox, where you try to sneak a rookie onto the roster. They select Spencer Miles. My first reaction is, who the hell is Spencer Miles? Okay. Don't even let anyone try to tell you they knew who he was before the draft. I look him up and I'm holding on my phone. And I remember turning to another reporter being like, this dude's 25 and he's thrown 14 innings in A ball. Like, what are they doing? There's no such thing as a bad Rule 5 pick because it's essentially free by MLB standards. But like, what is this? And from there, my next question was, okay, does this guy throw like 101? No. Was he a former top prospect? No. But somewhere in the Blue Jays front office, someone nailed this. Like somebody really, really secured their own job for the next decade with this pick. And credit to them, man, because Spencer Miles has been the best story on this team this year. And he might even be a starting pitcher. Like if he is in the starting rotation next year, this is in a, all-time Blue Jays Rule 5 pick territory. It's partly physical, like what he's doing on the mound is great. When you hear like repeatable delivery, it's one of those vague phrases that's thrown around a lot, and it's obvious what it means, but it's so important. And it's one of the single most crucial things to being a consistent pitcher in Major League Baseball. And he nails that. He's got the stuff. And mentally, I think he's the right guy too. He's not cocky about this. Like he's aware that this is pretty wild, and he is a very humble, curious person, which matches perfectly, man. Like the Jays struck gold here. You can't overstate how important this is. Because without Spencer Miles, I can't believe I'm saying this stuff right now. Without him, I mean, they're in even worse shape. He is the best story on this team right now.
I find some of the criticism levied at the Jays front office since the season has started to be completely unwarranted because they don't get to control this absolute deluge of injuries that have happened this season. But what they have done very, very well is patching the drywall in this situation and stopping the bleeding to the best of their ability. Obviously, they're not running in first right now or anything, but this could be much worse than it was if it wasn't for some of these signings and these pickups that only a really great front office can identify. But I want to stick with the pitching here again from last night. And you sometimes wonder how much of the credit for Hoffman's ninth inning comes from that amazing arm angle of Tyler Rodgers in the eighth inning to set that up. And it's not like they each face the same batters, but just the different look, even from the on deck circle, can really throw an offense off.
Yeah, Rodgers has been fantastic. I'm just bringing up his number. He has a 1.54 ERA.
It's incredible.
And I mean, over 23 innings, 24 appearances, which is up there top 10 of the big leagues.
He throws
Right
90.
along with, and I mean, Fluharty, Hoffman, Rodgers, Fisher, Varland all have 24, 25 appearances. God, someone please throw a complete game. Like this is not sustainable. But Tyler Rodgers could make 90 appearances. It doesn't matter. And if any reliever who threw 99 had a 1.54 ERA, we would be talking about them like an all-star. Louis Varland probably should be an all-star. He's up there even better at 0.7. But Tyler Rodgers is just one of the smartest, most stable signings this front office has made. Relievers, and this is kind of an example of how a smart front office chases their own beliefs instead of what's trendy. What's trendy in baseball is guys that throw 104 right now and who have sliders that have whatever metric numbers that guys spew out at me now. I feel like I can't even talk to guys about their pitches. Well, it had 21 vert, 3 horizontal. Okay, dude. Was it a good or a bad slider?
I'm not a physicist. Was it good or bad? Yeah.
Good or bad. You tell me and I'll just trust you, dude. The Blue Jays understood in this, and even talking to Ross Atkins and Schneider and people around the signing, like there was a certain sense of just like, dude, he gets outs. And at the end of the day, you need a reliever to get 3 outs. Even the runs that have scored against Tyler Rodgers, I think back in Arizona at one point, those are just like choppers.
Yeah.
Bad luck, weird stuff happening to Tyler Rodgers. He has been spectacular. I think down the road, it even excites me more because think of a playoff game. There's a 24-year-old kid up at the plate. You're already nervous enough. And now you've got this guy doing that to you. Like it's the equivalent of an elite changeup in a big spot when the guy's gripping the bat a bit tighter. I think Tyler Rodgers is going to be great for his whole contract here. And I feel like we're going to talk about him like once a year, which is exactly what they want.
And speaking about the pitching staff in the series as a whole, we really can't say enough about how they handled Aaron Judge, because as goes Judge, so go the Yankees. They basically killed the queen bee. They shut him down, which changes their offense so much. And it wasn't just Yesavage or whomever else. It was all of them. They had a good game plan for him. They stuck to it, and they shut him down completely.
I like hearing the different pitchers talk about facing him. Like, Spencer Miles, who's just like still kind of like a kid in a candy store. He's like, man, Aaron Judge, phenomenal hitter. What's so great to face him? And Trey Yesavage is like, yeah, he's good. I try to strike everyone out. Like, I'm just like, all right, dude, cool. Man, Judge is off right now. You don't see that. It won't last long. It's amazing he does not go through these more often.
Right.
Because when I see a 6'7" hitter with big, long arms, big, long bat, long swing, the first thing I think is this guy's got no chance. Like the holes in his swing are going to be massive. It's why when you see guys that are 6'7", they're pitchers, not hitters.
Yeah.
Judge's size, I know, is his greatest strength, but it makes me even more impressed with what he actually does. If you're Jose Altuve and you're 5'6", maybe they're calling him, and you've got that short, compact swing, you can make contact whenever you want. Aaron Judge, there's so much going into that swing. Jays caught him at the right time, man, and they killed him. And Jazz Chisholm, too, right behind him. Like, you're a limit. Hey, I mean, Jazz is, I think a lot of guys could strike out Jazz Chisholm right now,
Yeah.
but you're eliminating the 2-3 or the 3-4 in the Yankees lineup. And they're such a power based lineup, too. They need power. They're not going to hit 4 singles in a row. So they completely took that away. And that's why they won these last 2 games. I mean, it feels like, man, series split. The offense is back. God, no. Like the offense
Yeah,
was still bad the last 2
yeah.
games. The Blue Jays just pitched incredibly.
And to Aaron Judge again, too, two of his strengths have always been he has a tremendous knowledge of the strike zone, and he's very good typically at bringing his hands in. But in this series, I saw him questioning his strike zone, chasing pitches, and only able to ground out pitches on the inner half or inside of the plate. So whatever their game plan was, they should stick with it. And finally, with pitching, because you haven't been on here since this game, that was Trey Yesavage's best start of the season. If you consider all the circumstances as well, it's one of the best starts of his career.
He's so damn good, man. It's
Man.
last year what we saw, and this will sound strange, but like what he's doing now impresses me more than last year. When he struck out 13 Yankees, or when he did what he did to the Rays and set records for like most whiffs ever on a splitter. Yes, that's really cool, and yes, it's really good. But the more I cover baseball, the more aware I am that a pitcher needs to have a second act. Okay, anyone can come out and throw 103. Like most teams have a guy that throws 102, 103 now. Most teams have a guy with a slider that has metrics like you've never seen before that no one can touch and no one can hit. Either their elbow explodes or they don't have a second trick and they can't get you next time. Trey Savage can get you next time. Like we saw it his last 2 starts leading into this one. He didn't even have good stuff at all, and he still put up good numbers. In this one, like what I loved from Yesavage, we always talk about his splitter constantly. But I mean, a 107 ERA through 5 starts. Give me a break. But what I loved in this one, we always talk about the splitter because it's the high release point tumbling down to a splitter. So it starts way up on the moon and it tumbles down. What I don't think gets talked enough is his high fastball, because you're already starting up way high and it stays high. So to a hitter, that looks like, God, this must be 6 inches above the zone. Then you're getting rung up. Like when Trey Savage lands a high fastball, that pitch is almost as impossible to hit, excuse me, as the low splitter. It's incredible.
And also in this ABS era, a fastball coming from that high and clipping the top of the zone, you're going to get a lot of batters challenging that pitch, just thinking it's impossible that it clipped the top of the zone because they don't see fastballs clip the zone coming on such an arced angle like that. So there's another advantage built into the delivery path.
Exactly. Yeah. And the top of the zone is where guys get confused about ABS stuff too, because that's where the height of each individual batter comes in, which like seems like it was forgotten for decades. You know, the batter's height should play into this, right? Like it's I feel, you know, you watch the game every night. Oh yeah, Altuve and Judge have the same box. Sure.
It's
but,
just crazy. Yeah.
It's such an thing to exploit for Trey Savage, man.
Okay, let's switch to the offense a little bit here because last night George Springer had another home run. It was a very important padding home run for the team to give them a little bit of breathing room against this Yankees team. Obviously, it's a great thing because it appears as though George Springer's starting to heat up. He's moved on from the toe injury, but the impact that could potentially have on the reemergence of Vladimir Guerrero's offense, it's hard to overstate the likelihood of the impact of taking some of that pressure off the bat and shoulders of Vladdy Guerrero.
Oh yeah, you need something to happen in front of Vlad, because what's happening right now is that Vlad is coming up to the plate a lot of the time with nobody on base, and behind him is maybe Kazuma Okamoto, which sometimes is very threatening. The last couple weeks, not so much. He's slumping again. Maybe it's Dalton Varsho, who is good. He's hot, but it's not Aaron Judge. Okay, so you don't have threat on either side of Vladdy. That is a problem. Last year, you had it a lot of the time because either George Springer or Bo Bichette would be on base. And if somebody's standing on second base, you're not going to play around as much with Vladdy. You've got to get the guy. So Vladdy just needs to hit. Like, no matter how many times I'm told he's being pitched differently, like, I don't care. Okay, every good hitter's pitched differently. Some of them have stayed good. How do they do it? Vladdy's got to figure that out. But this can snowball a little bit, hopefully, if you're the Blue Jays. And George Springer, I think, has kind of flown under the radar because of the toe injury and also because we're talking about Vladdy and everyone else being hurt. But this team needs George Springer. I mean, as much as anybody, really. It doesn't need to be what it was last year with a 950 OPS. Make it an 810 OPS, whatever. Like, that's still really damn good. from a leadoff hitter who is second all time in leadoff home runs. Like, he's a unique leadoff hitter, but you've got to have him. Like, last year, he was so energized. And when I think of George Springer last year, I think of him going first to third on singles. I think of him scoring from second on singles. Like, the image I have of 2025 George Springer is him just burning around third. And he'd always be like cartoonishly like yelling, and there'd be gear flying off him. But he was so energized. And we haven't seen that yet this year because his toe's broken and because he's not on base to do it, right? But you got to have that, man. The top of the lineup, if you don't have a leadoff guy or a Vladdy hitting well, you're just hoping to bunt around and score 2 runs. And that is not a good way to win. And frankly, it's boring to watch.
Yeah, you made a comment with Dan the other day about Vladdy's at bats. He appears to be trying to stay alive
Yeah.
instead of attacking. And I mean, we saw it again in the series. And it's something I had pointed out on one of these shows earlier this year. The amount of times on swings, his bottom hand is coming off the bat. And that's when you know a guy's out of sync, because that just doesn't happen a lot if you're dialed in. But again, this protection afforded him. And I'll say this, and I'm going to try and transition to Okamoto in a second here too. Vlad continues to play defensively very strong. It's not like his contribution is completely washed across the board. I do think he needs to step up. But again, with George Springer, I find him to be a very accountable professional. He said in the media, I can be better, I will be better. And that's the type of attitude and leadership that will trickle down through the lineup again, hopefully having that springboard effect for the others.
That's all anybody wants to hear.
Yeah.
Honestly, like, it can be so easy, man. Like, it can be so easy to say the right thing to media and to fans when you're struggling. I think that I mean, we're not in New York and we're not in Philadelphia. Okay. Nobody's going to leak your address and send someone to your house. All right. I know that people are still fanatical followers of this team in Toronto, but it's not like that, right? What people want to hear is for the player to say, listen, like, I get it. I think that too. Like, I want to be better. I promise you I'm working on it and I will be better. What they don't want to hear is the excusey, wishy-washy, in the middle type of stuff of, oh, I think I'm close, I'm being pitched weird. Like, that doesn't land. So credit to George Springer, man. I like that. He's always been very good with that, very smart with media. I think he learned that from such a young age, being in the spotlight in Houston, for both good and bad reasons. But he is handling this well. And he is, as much as anyone, like the clubhouse leader at this point. You know, Vladdy's the face of the franchise, but I think it's George who will be the one that stands up and gives the rah-rah speech or tells people to calm down type of things. That's very good from him.
And you just mentioned Kazuo Komodo. He is, in fact, in an offensive slump right now. But I made a note last night because in the 6th inning with 2 men on, he went deep in the hole on a ground ball, rifled it across the infield to shut down a potential Yankees rally. And he has, in some ways this year, the expectations for him defensively were like, he'll be fine.
Yeah.
But I think he's been better than fine over there. And I think he's played at times very strong defense, which has remained consistent throughout the batting slumps. And that's an invaluable piece of this puzzle for the Jays, should they correct their offensive woes and get this thing back on track.
Totally. Like, Kaz is essentially replacing Bo Bichette. I know they're not the same position, but he's the replacement. I'm bringing up Bo's numbers right. He's batting 225 with a 604 OPS.
He had 2 2-run home runs last night, though, I think.
Good one last night. He's getting much better. Like, great week for Bo. Defensively, there's not a lot to love there with Bo. Kazuma coming over to North America, his defensive reviews were pretty good, but you never know because in Japan, you do not have Aaron Judge hitting ground balls at you at 115 miles an hour, right? And then when I saw him in spring training, he is a bigger built guy, like very much hockey build, massive upper legs, big through the hips and the core. Like, that's where his strength and natural muscle and power is. He's not Andres Jimenez. Like, he's not a little twitchy guy out there. So I wasn't sure how much his short area movement would benefit him, but he's been great. He's been fantastic defensively. He's making the plays you need to make, which is step one, but he's making a couple that are even more impressive. Now, you see the communication has come in a couple times, that pop fly that dropped between he and Pinyango, but that'll come, and that'll come as his confidence improves. But he has been, I mean, still to this point, even with a slump right now coming through, still leads the team easily in home runs. He has double anyone else. 27 RBI, tied with Andres Jimenez for the team lead. What are we doing here? 715 OPS. Like, I think coming into the year, I said, like, maybe by June, July, he's got that 680 OPS, but by the end of the year, it's 780 type of deal. he's been better early on than I thought, but maybe it still follows a bit of a path like that where you adjust and kind of catch a second wind at some point. But they got to get him going though. This team needs runs produced, and they need an RBI guy. But it's all connected. You need George and Vladdy on base in front of him because Kazuma is a true RBI guy. And I've come to believe that that's a real thing. Like Edwin Encarnacion was one, Joe Carter was one in the regular season. Like guys who just know how to drive runners in and know when to just hit a sac fly. And I think Okamoto can be that guy. You just need to put some people on.
And battling through illness, Ernie Clement had a pretty good series in New York, especially last night. His contributions just proven so invaluable from this team going back to late last year. And he's also another guy that seems to be able to right the ship when it blows off course quicker than others sometimes. And I think a lot of that does stem from his kind of wonderful attitude towards the game of baseball.
Yeah, he had the big 3-run home run. Then the next morning, we found out he had strep throat. To which I said, "Great, I'm glad I've been around so much. This is really good." And for the next 2 days, any tickle I got, I'm like, "Oh God, that's it." And no, it's because I had 6 beers last night. It's not not strep throat, but Clements has this knack for the moment, I think, and it hasn't been a great start to the year for him, like offensively and certainly defensively. His numbers defensively and the eye test defensively haven't been there. But 16 doubles, like that's, I think, still tops in baseball. And the home runs over the weekend, I mean, he's batting 296 with a 748 OPS. That's even, I mean, I should be more fair. That's a tick above where I thought it was right now. Credit to him, man. Like he is offensively finding a way to evolve just a bit, because if you're just a contact hitter, it's not going to work. Okay. Like if you are only putting the ball in play, you are going to get pitched around and you are going to leave yourself open to big swings in luck. It's all up to your BABIP. Like, our ball's going to find holes or not. But what those 16 doubles tell me, and of those 16 doubles, um, somehow that grounder that went off the third baseman's glove last night was called a double for Ernie Clement. Modern MLB scoring baffles me. I don't get it. But the other 15, just about all of them, have been line drive doubles into the left field corner. Like, they're the exact same, every single one. So that shows me a hitter who is doing his thing and is not just reacting anymore. And Clement, what I'm really excited to see is when Alejandro Kirk is back, Addison Barger is back. Then you get Ernie Clement as like your number 7 hitter or something. That's when the bottom of the Jays lineup can take on that scrappy hit and run, slapping singles, bunting kind of chaos bottom third like they were last year. That's where the magic is.
And speaking of that lineup, the 1 through 9 approach is truly what did it for this team and carried them so far last year. And now, correct me if I'm wrong, but in this series, and I watched it as closely as I could, but you are much closer to the team than I ever will be. I felt as though some of the at bats 1 through 9 were starting to feel more like the way they approached the game last year, seeing more pitches, wasting through foul balls, pitches that are close to the zone. It just felt like there's the approach is returning to the way it was last year, seeing more pitches, fouling more pitches off, forcing the other team to work.
Yeah, just look at that Andres Jimenez at bat.
Yes.
11 pitches against Cam Schlittler. I mean, come on. That is unbelievable what he did. And having that approach where you're taking, I mean, the bases loaded walk is like the ultimate Blue Jays offense run. Like, it's come a joke over the last few years. And when you get Alejandro Kirk back, he embodies that so much, like so well. Getting Barger back, I think, will help. Like, the Blue Jays are having to play Davis Schneider and Lenyn Sosa a lot right now. Davis Schneider has not had a hit in a while. Lenyn Sosa hasn't seen ball 3 since the 1960s, man. It is getting tough to watch. Lenyn Sosa at the plate. He hasn't walked all year, and he has taken, between Chicago and Toronto, 105 trips to the plate. And he hasn't walked. So because of which is, I think he's only seen ball 3 5 times, which is stunning. So when you get Alejandro Kirk and Addison Barger and Nathan Lucas back, then you'll get a little more towards their identity as well. Right now, they're being forced to deploy some lineups that they don't consider plan A, let's call it that way. And Andres Jimenez, Ernie Clement, these guys, like, so much of the Blue Jays' offensive identity is actually dictated by the bottom half of this lineup, which is weird. But that can be contagious, because when you see the bottom, like when you see someone like Miles Straw or Ernie Clement, Nathan Lucas, Andres Jimenez doing something, the guys up top, I mean, Vladdy's got to be saying, listen, I got to chip into this. I mean, come on, they can't be carrying the team. So you're starting to see it slowly but surely. The missing piece is just power. Like the 1 through 9 approach is a great way to go 500. You need power if you're going to be a real contender to give yourself a ceiling. The 1 through 9 is the floor. They need ceiling right now, and ceiling is directly correlated to power.
Let's close here, Keegan. The Pittsburgh Pirates, the continuously improving Pittsburgh Pirates, might I change that
Yeah.
too, roll into town this weekend. What can a fan base expect from this National League team that has really changed their identity over the last couple of seasons?
Paul Skeens Day on Saturday, baby. This is going to
Are
be
we
good.
celebrating it? I'm not celebrating it.
Yeah, I don't know how excited people should be. 26 and 24 coming in. Like I
Yeah.
I would love to live in a world where the Pirates also start to spend some money over
Yes.
the next little bit. I don't know if we're going to get there, but looking at their lineup, like bringing it up now, even old friend Spencer Horwitz through 45 games is an 815 OPS. Like when he was with the Blues, I loved Spencer Horwitz as a hitter. And I knew that eventually he would find a home and do this. I'm so glad to see that he's done it. And Connor Griffin, I mean, when Connor Griffin, like the top super prospect in baseball, when he came up, the first week or two wasn't good. Just wasn't. And no wonder, the dude's 12 years old. It's going to be a little overwhelming at first. But his last few weeks, his last 20, 25 games have been spectacular. Like this guy isn't just a star. Like this guy is superstar potential of maybe being one of those top 10 players in baseball, perennial MVP candidate type of players. And on top of that, you have Paul Skeens, who like I want to bring up actually Skeens since that first disaster start that we were talking about before we came on, where he had, 2/3 of an inning and 5 earned runs. Over his last 9 starts, 54 innings with an ERA of 1.82. I mean, the guy is unbelievable. And him versus Patrick Corbin is what I will very politely call a contrast of styles. That's what we're gonna go with. Um, I I just know that Patrick Corbin's gonna somehow outduel Paul Skeens.
It
Like
seems inevitable.
it's just it's gonna be how this works, man. Like, and it'll be some sort of greasy, like they'll both throw 5 1/3, but Corbin will keep it to 1 run or something. But the Pirates are fun, man. Like honestly, if I was a fan just getting into baseball, or if I was firing up like a franchise mode on MLB The Show or something, like the A's out in Sacramento with their young talent are cool as hell. But the
Mhm.
Pirates are like a cool young team, man. It's not just Paul Skeens anymore. Their offense is good. I just hope they spend more than $20 down the road because they have the foundational pieces to be a superpower. You just need money eventually.
Do the Blue Jays play in Pittsburgh this season at all? Do you remember?
I don't think so, because I'd be looking forward to that road trip. That's
Well,
one of the very best.
I'll close here because the next time they do, and to the powers that be that run this company, you need to put me, Keegan, and Dan up in the
There
Rivers
we
Casino,
go.
Pittsburgh, while we're there for
Oh,
a weekend show. We love doing remote shows, so
I
I'm putting it
like
on
it.
record right now. I'm actually going to promise you, it's not my money to spend, but I'm
I'm
going to
in.
send my professional integrity is on the line. That will happen the next time the Blue Jays play in Pittsburgh. We'll make it so, Keegan.
I like it. I'll be there already, so I'm mostly free. We'll make it happen.
We will. Thanks for joining us again. Enjoy the series this weekend.
You got it.